story of our Prophet ﷺ, as Imam Talali also kind of alluded to, is that the Prophet ﷺ was the most generous of men. And in particular, when he became a prophet, when he declared his prophethood, he was a prophet all the way from the beginning, but when he declared his prophethood, he became even more generous. And then he kept on getting and more generous as he was already. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali kind of indicates a very interesting point here, that his generosity included many things. There was an end to it where in Ramadan, when the Prophet ﷺ used to meet Jibreel, he used to be so generous, as Imam Talal Eid أجود من الريح المرسلة, that he was more generous than the early morning breeze, that it hits everyone. It's it does not discriminate the breeze when it runs in the early morning. When you feel it, everybody feels it. That was his optimal, when he was on the highest level of being generous. But let's go back to where he, before his declaration of his prophethood, before he receives the revelation that makes him the highest level of being generous, he was known for these traits. He was known to be, a lot of Muslims know that he was known to be as-sadiq and al-amin, but he had many other traits that he was also well known for. And the story of the first revelation, when he runs to his wife gives him comfort, not saying that you are a great man, you are a trustworthy person. All those traits, indeed, they are very true. But what are the things that the Prophet ﷺ was reminded from his own wife? He said, aren't you that person who takes care of the widows? Aren't you that person who takes care of the orphans? Aren't you that person who goes out and seeks to help people who are underserved? Those people are in desperate need. Those are the things that the Prophet ﷺ was reminded, meaning that from his very early young age, he was out there to support and help people. So I wanted to just kind of remind ourselves that being generous and being of those who support and help people, it is something that is really celebrated in the Prophet ﷺ's very early age. And therefore, he did not forget that. When he first came to Medina, one of the first things that he said, أطعم الطعام, feed the people, feed the people, feed the people. أطعم الطعام, feed people. So feeding people, it is something that it's been celebrated in our tradition.